Hey everyone, in today's video we are going to take a look at the handwriting and note-taking performance of the iPad Air 3. Let me start by saying that the 10.5-inch screen on the Air 3 and the 9.7-inch screen on the iPad 6, these are very nice sizes to work with when it comes to writing and taking notes. So for example, with this 10.5-inch screen, this is actually around the same size as a typical notepad. This is 6 by 8 inches. So this is really a very nice size to work with. I prefer writing on this compared to the 7.9-inch iPad mini. Even the 9.7-inch screen, it's also a very nice size. Now, if you are just looking for a tablet to take notes with, mostly for writing, I actually recommend you get the iPad 6, which is significantly cheaper. But there are some advantages to using the iPad Air 3 though. So let's take a look. There are many note-taking apps in the App Store, so we'll just take a look at a select few. We'll start with Wacom Bamboo Paper. The iPad Air 3 uses the first generation Apple Pencil, which supports pressure sensitivity and palm rejection. And those features work really well with most of the apps that I use. When it comes to note-taking, I pay attention to how accurately my handwriting can be captured. I also look out for lag. So in the case of Wacom Bamboo Paper, it seems like it's able to capture my handwriting quite well, and this app is pretty responsive. And now I'm using GoodNotes. The main advantage iPad Air 3 has over the 9.7-inch iPad is this has a laminated screen, which means there is no gap between the glass surface and the LCD screen beneath. So when you are writing, it will seem like the strokes are on the surface of the glass. There is also no gap between the strokes and the pen tip. It's a really satisfying experience to write and draw on a laminated screen. As you are tapping or writing on the screen, there is no hollow sounding sound. So GoodNotes performs really well. It gets an A+ from me. And now I'm using Pen Ultimate. Now this app has an interesting feature. You can zoom in and it will give you a window, a magnified window, and you can actually write here. And as you are writing, notice that it's scrolling. You can press this button here to go into the next line. Next line again. It actually sort of detects your writing speed. So as you stop, it would also stop. And now I can close this. This magnified window is actually more useful on the iPad mini where the screen is smaller. On the iPad Air where the screen is much bigger, you can actually write comfortably without zooming in. Sometimes you may not want to write that big anyway, but it does give you precise control should you need it. Pen Ultimate is a very good app for taking notes as well. And this is Microsoft OneNote. By the way, I am writing with very heavy pressure right now. On this screen, it's very hard, it's very sturdy. So when I press down really hard, I don't see any ripple effects. Here's a closer look as I write with heavy pressure and now with light pressure. This is a good app. It's able to capture my handwriting accurately. It's also very responsive. This is Notes Plus. I like this app because it applies a nice style to the strokes. So those thin and thick lines, they are actually not because of pressure sensitivity. It's because of the style applied by the software. When you write fast, the thin and thick transition is more obvious. When you go slow, the lines are thicker and more consistent. This is Notability. Now Apple Pencil, it's really sensitive. As long as the pen tip is on the glass surface, it will give you a line. So you don't really have to apply a lot of pressure. The initial activation force is very light, very minimal. The last app I want to show you is Nabo. This is an app that can convert your handwriting into editable text, and it's able to capture my handwriting quite well. It's very responsive. To convert this into text, you can click here and click Convert. So this app was able to recognize what I have written, and there are no mistakes here. My overall writing experience on the iPad Air 3 is very positive, very satisfactory. Pressure sensitivity and palm rejection works really well. Most of the apps I've tried, they are very responsive, and this is just a really nice size to work with because it allows me to put my palm on the screen while writing, which is much more comfortable compared to the smaller iPad mini screen. So overall, this gets an A+ for writing performance.